Joining us now, the host of the Michele Tafoya podcast, Michele Tafoya, along with the founder of Allison May PR, Allison Maloney. Good to see you both. Thanks for coming on.
Right. Thanks for having us.
Michele, I'll start with you. To me, it's over with that side of the aisle. It is too far gone. They are demolishing their locker rooms so men and women can go into the same. There's no difference between men and women. This is worship of woke ideology and policy. What say you?
You know, full disclosure, my brother is a graduate of UC Davis. This is probably not the school he remembers. I'm very commonsensical about this. There are men and there are women. There are men's sports and there are women's sports. And the reason those divisions were ever established is because women needed an opportunity to compete in a fair division. Now, you'll notice a lot of men are happy to compete in women's sports. You don't see women going over to the men's side. Yeah, there's a pretty obvious reason for that too, right?
I always wondered that. Why don't we ever see that?
Yeah, you never see that. So this is ridiculous. I agree with the statement that was made about Governor Newsom. You can talk all you want about how this is unfair, but until you do something about it, your words are hollow. And for him to use terms like weaponizing this and bullying kids and that people are more likely to kill themselves or be depressed, he's not up with the latest research. That is very, very clear.
You know, Allison, I want you to take a listen to what Hakeem Jeffries, his reaction to what Newsom said. Take a listen.
I haven't seen his comments. What Democrats opposed was unleashing sexual predators on girls throughout the United States of America.
So, Allison, Newsom can't run for governor again. Do you think he's doing all of this to try to show himself in a more moderate light for maybe future office?
Yes, I do. Absolutely. I think that's why he started his podcast, because he says that he wants to have people with opposing views on this. He's taking a stance on this. Democrats don't know what to do with him coming out and saying that, but I do think he sees a future in politics. He's not going to obviously be running for governor, but potential president, I see that in the forefront. And I think that's exactly why he's doing it, because he knows why so many people voted for President Donald Trump, because they were tired of seeing boys play on girls' sports. They were tired of seeing boys in girls' locker rooms. And he sees that the American public has spoken, and he needs to be in the middle or a little bit towards the right if he wants to try and win the next term.
The majority of Americans are with Trump on this issue, with this whole transgender nonsense.
It's like 80 or 90% on the side of getting this out of our culture here. Michele, I'm going to ask you about this. Linda McMahon, President Trump, send education back down to the states, dismantle the education department. It's horrible. Our test results of our kids are absolutely atrocious here. It clearly doesn't work. To me, I think the real reason the left is fighting for it so hard is to make sure it's cultural issues, to be able to implement this DEI woke stuff into curriculum all across the country, get them while they're young. And then you wind up with stuff like this. Same-sex locker rooms on college campuses here. You see what I'm getting at here? That's why they want to keep it around.
Yeah.
And pro-Hamas, protesters all over universities all over the country. Yeah, look, I live here in Minnesota where fewer than 50% of our students can read at grade level or can do math at grade level. This is atrocious, and frankly, it's unacceptable. What a disservice to these kids. I mean, reading is like one of the most powerful tools you can give a kid, and I'm starting to wonder, I'm sure this is going to sound conspiratorial, if people, we'd rather teach them about virtue signaling and DEI and CRT than reading. Because if we do teach them to read, then they really have more power than we want them to have, and they have access to information maybe we don't want them to have. So there's this kind of two-pronged thing going on, dumbing down these kids and then instituting these philosophies, these divisive, ideologies into which a lot of this whole gender ideology is part of that, by the way.
Information. Truth. Is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.